Ambassador Zixthor had witnessed many things in his 3 centuries of diplomatic service. He had negotiated peace between the war-hungry Krellians and the telepathic Mindari. He had survived the Great Plague of Sector 7. He had even endured a dinner with the notoriously hostile Vexnari, whose idea of polite conversation involved detailed descriptions of how they would consume their enemies. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared him for humanity. The humans had arrived at the Galactic Senate chambers with what they called gifts. This alone set off every alarm in Zixthor's threat assessment implants. In his experience, species bearing gifts were either showing submission or plotting domination. Given humanity's recent military victories against 3 separate invasion fleets, submission seemed unlikely. The human ambassador, a female named Sarah Chen, stood before the assembled Senate with a smile that showed her teeth. Zixthor's research indicated this was somehow meant to convey friendliness, though displaying one's feeding implements seemed objectively threatening. "Honored members of the Galactic Senate," Ambassador Chen began, her voice warm and melodious. "We come bearing tokens of friendship from Earth." The first gift went to Chancellor Vorn of the Thermian Collective, whose species had recently lost a colony ship to system failure. Chen presented him with something she called a care package. "We heard about your loss," she said softly, placing a hand on the Chancellor's crystalline shoulder. Vorn flinched at the touch. "We've included thermal regulators compatible with Thermian biology, nutritional supplements, and some items from our culture we thought might bring comfort. There are also detailed schematics for improving your life support systems, free of charge, of course." The Senate chamber fell silent. Free technology transfers? Unsolicited aid? This violated every principle of galactic economics. "There must be strings attached," hissed Senator Cathara, her scales rippling with suspicion. "What do you want in return, human?" Chen's smile somehow grew wider, revealing even more teeth. "Want? Nothing at all. We simply believe that when someone is suffering, those who can help should help. Isn't that what civilization means?" Zixthor watched as confusion rippled through the chamber. The concept was alien to most species present. Resources were traded, never given. Weakness was exploited, not comforted. This was the way of the galaxy. But the humans were just beginning. Over the following weeks, humanity's niceness campaign spread like a containment breach. They sent medical teams to plague-stricken worlds. They shared agricultural technology with famine-threatened colonies. They offered educational programs asking nothing in return. They even rescued a Krellian warship that had been hunting them just months earlier, then sent the crew home with repaired systems and enough supplies for the journey. "It's psychological warfare," insisted General Krax during an emergency Senate session. "They're weakening our defenses by making us dependent on their generosity. Or they're studying our biology for weakness," added Security Chief Ralvon. "Every medical team is a spy network. Every gift is surveillance equipment." Zixthor wanted to agree. He desperately wanted to believe in a rational explanation for human behavior, but the evidence contradicted every theory. Human aid came with no monitoring devices, no backdoors, no hidden clauses. They helped and then they left. It was unprecedented. It was inexplicable. It was terrifying. The true horror crystallized for Zixthor during a private conversation with Ambassador Chen. He had invited her to his quarters, determined to uncover the hidden strategy behind humanity's benevolence. "Why?" he asked directly, dispensing with diplomatic niceties. "Why do you help species who would have destroyed you? The Krellians tried to invade Earth. The Vexnari declared you abominations. Yet you save them, heal them, feed them. What do you gain?" Chen gazed out the viewport at the stars, her expression contemplative. When she spoke, her voice carried a weight that made Zixthor's scales itch. "Ambassador, humanity didn't reach the stars because we were the strongest or the smartest. We survived because we learned to cooperate, to help each other even when it cost us. We learned that the stranger today might be an ally tomorrow. We learned that building up others doesn't diminish us. It makes everyone stronger." She turned to face him, and her eyes held something that chilled Zixthor more than any weapon. "But more than that," she continued, "we learned what happens when compassion fails. We've seen societies built on pure self-interest. We've watched civilizations tear themselves apart through endless competition. We nearly did it ourselves several times. We learned that the galaxy you've all created, where everyone fights for scraps, where weakness is exploited, where trust is impossible, that's not strength. That's a slow death. You're trying to change the galactic order, Zixthor breathed. We're offering an alternative, Chen corrected gently. And here's what terrifies you, Ambassador. It's working. She was right, and Zixthor knew it. Species who received human aid weren't becoming dependent. They were becoming cooperative. They were starting to help each other. Trade agreements were being replaced by mutual assistance pacts. The zero-sum game that had governed galactic civilization for millennia was cracking. And humanity had weaponized something more powerful than any warship. They had weaponized hope. The final revelation came months later when the Krellian Empire, the galaxy's most aggressive military power, formally requested to join humanity's cooperative initiative. Their high commander's words echoed through the Senate chamber. We fought the humans, and they defeated us with overwhelming force. We expected enslavement or destruction. Instead, they rebuilt our damaged worlds and offered friendship. We realize now that we've been fighting the wrong battle. Any species can master violence. It takes a truly advanced civilization to master compassion. As the Senate dissolved into chaos, species scrambling to align with this new paradigm, Zixthor finally understood the genius of humanity's strategy. They hadn't conquered through force. They had conquered through example, showing the galaxy a better way to exist. And the most terrifying part? The humans genuinely believed in it. This wasn't strategy or deception. This was simply who they were. Zixthor looked at Ambassador Chen, who was patiently answering questions from a cluster of curious senators, her eternal smile never wavering. He felt a chill run through his entire body. The galaxy had finally met an apex predator that killed with kindness, and against that weapon there was no defense at all.